have enough time is obviously when ENCE played against Entropic, one of the big points that we made of it was that Entropic are a very demo-based team. There's not a lot of data out there for ENCE right now. They can't anti-strat hard. They can't make that. Now, Nexa versus Alexi B, in my head, you've got very minimal. We're going to leave this point to the side because we can't talk about it anymore. We're into the pistol. We're into the actual action. We'll leave that for the end of map 1, see if it rings true after that. But it's going to be ENCE popping into this B site early. 4 players charging out. Snappy falls back to drop the utility, and Nico, with one missed shot, leaves the B site wide open for the taking.
On being planted as we speak, dycha with a quick double dink onto Nico, starting strong for ENCE. This retake being lined up from OG, they at least have a kit. Smoke is out, but they're taking damage. They're returning fire onto Spinks, though. Now Madden's getting kills through the smoke.
It's a little bit mad across the board as the pistols try and charge on in, and even 3-on-3, but Valde rips Madden's head off to at least keep it competitive as dycha is left 1v2. Nexa just straight sticking this bomb. He knows it's planted on an off angle, and there's nothing dycha can do. Valde holds on, hits the headshot. Nexa lands the defuse, and OG, you could see in Valde how hyped up they're getting about taking that pistol.
1xbet odds there flashing up on your screen. Very close between these two, but OG off to the good start that we were looking for from them. Valde is certainly a player you would look at as being potentially a star man on this OG side. He hasn't always played the star positions for this squad, but he's just such a complete player, such a reliable force for this OG squad. Coming through with a really good performance on the pistol. And who'd have guessed it, Wolfie? We've got a second round force buy. The back of the bomb plant. You're always going to see this in modern day Counter-Strike.
I think Snappy has taken the ultimate L and has spent 2,700 to drop an AK.
Yeah.
And then no armor. Deagle that dropped from a teammate. Taking one for the team to make sure they get a few extra rifles. And to be fair, when you look over at that OG buy, you can see why. This is the kind of CT second round buy that fills you with just a little bit of dread. Nico and Flames both dropping down to the SMGs. 3 rifles, sure, but it's as many rifles as the T side have been able to bring out, and that always makes you a little nervous as they're starting to work their way up short. ENCE looking again for that split in towards the B site, and Valde is the only rifle home at the moment. He drops the Molotov, that'll buy time, and Mantu will start to make the rotation because Nexa has pushed all the way down that A ramp. He knows this isn't going to be the A site, so it's going to be a stack as Spinks takes the early damage.
Dangerous for ENCE here with 40 seconds remaining. Nico tucked in, but he's going to swing in towards short. Early frag is found, and now they know almost certainly it's this B play. Good shot from Valde, playing back from bench. Mantu here to help, and the rifle's looking solid on the hold so far. Valde turns back for another one, and another clean round for OG to start this game.
Really nice controlled aggression from them into that second one as well. Getting Nexa through on that FAMAS, confirming it's not the A site hit. From there, allowing that heavy rotation, which almost mitigates the concerns I had about having those 2 SMGs, only having 1 rifle on that B site. Because there is a world without that rotation where Valde gets his head ripped off early, and then all that stands between ENCE and that B site is 1 MP9, and that always just makes you shiver in your seats a little bit. However, they get through it cleanly, and as a result, this round is their reward. A half buy, an assortment of pistols, nobody able to bring armor out, however, and already Madden is gone. Hades taking a lot of damage with him.
Oh, OG are just pushing like crazy at the start of this one. Uh-oh, Nico, you've been spotted. And now they will start to turn around and try and flush you out of this position. Snappy spots him, damage done. Oh, he actually loses out. Spinks was coming in from the flank, but Snappy still commits to it. So Nico may be a little lucky to get away with one there. Oh, that's a dirty angle from Valde.
Not seen that one before.
I need to bring some of these out in my MM games. Tilt my opponents.
3 players have disconnected after you get 3 kills from that position, and nobody knows where you are. Nexa, meanwhile, cleaning up house. Nice clean headshot, and this one again should be a done deal. Spinks to try and find just a little bit of extra damage. Maybe take away one of these rifles. I'd argue he should leave the FAMAS up because it's more of a hindrance than a help. He's going to have a go at it anyway. Will connect onto that headshot. Nexa taken out, but again, few too many rifles, few too little time. Flames deals with the problem. 3-0 OG. A relatively smooth start to proceedings, dealing with the initial aggressions of ENCE well.
Yeah, I'm happy about this start from OG. Coming in with some aggression, coming in with real freedom to go for information plays. Especially so early in a game, it's got to be quite frustrating for ENCE, who are sitting here maybe a little confused as to how they're losing so much info so early in these rounds so far. Let's see if it continues in the gun rounds, though. Man2 with the AWP in hand. Spinks has already crossed into top mid, but look at the B play.
Just charging on out with the utility. Flames, yes, he deals with Spinks in mid, but B is where the issue really begins. Nico trying to catch them on transition, won't be able to hit the shots. Will be a wide open B site. Fast flank now coming in though, and as Man2 deals with Hades, that opens the door beautifully for Flames. Bomb will go down, and OG really just need to hold their angles and bide their time because Flames is not going to be expected this quick on the backstab. There's no way they're watching for it. Flames with the clean headshot. dycha now his next issue. Behind that backbench, he will find the trade, but again, there's just not enough men in the site itself. It's a 1v4, make it none v4. Nico swinging in, gets his kill. And again, OG looking very, very solid on this CT side. Early aggression working out beautifully.
Yeah, it's another scenario where ENCE just get that foothold onto B. And normally, when you see that from the T side, you're going to feel as though they are heavily favored in those scenarios. We saw something similar in the pistol, where OG's B retake was so effective. Able to get the kills they need, able to force the fights back into the site. Bit of a slow start for some of the individuals of ENCE, but at least with that bomb plant, they can still afford AKs into this one. Try and keep the pressure on.
Trying to charge down mid early is Madden leading the way. Expected to see him in this entry fragging role as he hears Flames jumping around in that smoke, and Nico is hanging around a long old wire. They have no idea Madden is so aggressive. Free trade, and dycha actually takes advantage to catch Nico right as he's looking for the rifle. And Man2 trying to stabilize things with a big flick onto Madden. Needs the next shot, but he can't quite land it. dycha's in with the punishment. And now Nexa looking very lonely on this A site. Too many angles, not enough time. ENCE finally finding some purchases. Valde yet to die to try and find the 1v3. Nice spray down, connects the second, and it's all onto dycha. 1v1, Valde smoked off. Desperately spamming through that smoke, trying to find some kind of connection. He hasn't got a defuse kit. You have to imagine Nexa had one inside of the site. As dycha looks to reset, jumps into those triple boxes. Bomb well planted for him. Valde down on 47 HP, looking to make it 10-0. dycha hides within the site, just plays for the time, plays for the angle. Valde has got so many spots to check, and he just misses the one that dycha's in. ENCE very nearly bottling their first T-side round, but dycha's there to bail them out.
And finally bring down Valde. Took a lot to do it, though. He nearly made that work there with the AK after some snappy shots. I like that ENCE are taking back initiative in that round, though. They go for the mid play, they go for some aggression, and they just cause a bit of chaos. You see Madden getting the early presence in towards connector, and then Nico seemed like he got caught in two minds. I think he had a nade out as he went down from short, and now it's coming back to B again. This surprises me because I feel like Valde is so solid as that B site anchor on Mirage, but they're going to try and punish him again.
He's a little isolated this time. The support from short not really there, so he tucks deep, deals with Snappy on the charge. The MAC-10 now down. He's got a lot more problems where that came from, and somehow he keeps delivering. Finally burnt out, and that may well be the kill that ENCE need to get into this site. Madden dealing with the rotating Nexa leaves Man2 and Flames in the 2-on-3. Orpa going the long way around through the apartments. Flames looking to make his way out of the kitchen. That HE, if it lands right on Madden, will deal with him, but it's 1 point of health. Flames will find the first headshot. Manages to split the defenders. Hades trying to support his man, and they double peek him beautifully. Clean timing from ENCE. Another round where it feels like one moment could have swung the whole thing. If that nade connects, I've got a hunch that Flames may well be pulling that clutch off.
Yeah, really unfortunate that that nade doesn't get the frag outright. Super solid work from Valde on this initial hold. He did about as much as you could expect from him, but ENCE did a fantastic job at cutting off the rotation. And then this double peek at the end, so well played by ENCE. Especially when you've got a player low in the 2v1 like that. I love the double peek there. Instead of maybe letting just a one stray bullet on a turnaround, on a transfer, dictate the round, the double peek makes sure that can't happen. And finally, we have a chance to breathe because OG's money is screwed.
Nothing they can really do about this one. Default pistols. Mantu goes for the cheeky play, grabs himself the Zeus. Have to see if he can get anything with it. Currently deep into CT, so you can't imagine he's really going to get too much breathing room. Flames is the first to go, and Valde already burned down to 7. It really is just a question I find in these rounds of not dying to Mac 10s, and well, Nexa does that well. Spinks finds him. Madden. There we go. Mantu finds his Zeus. Get snappy. Get out of there. See if you can maybe grab one more kill with that Mac 10. Would have hoped for it to be a rifle, I suppose, but it's not a bad result. He gets his Zeus kill. He gets the funny little noise. Happy days.
Funny noise. Very
exactly.
Funny. That's exactly what he was going for, and he got it. This has been a really fun start to this game, though. I've got a good feeling about this series, Wolfie. Just a lot of action early. ENCE are coming in with the pace and the sort of loose play I think we were expecting from both teams, where they're willing to commit to some of these early plays. They're willing to just brawl early on. And this is why we were saying I think it could really come down to the firepower here. And look at some of the players that have been showing up early. Oh, okay, that's fine. Valde didn't have much. dycha and Valde both at 11 kills so far.
It definitely is a battle of the individuals, and you're right. I mean, it's actually two of the players who we don't necessarily expect so much of, right? Valde, you talk about him being a consistent anchor, and he can be that player, but it's not expected for OG, and it's very much the same for dycha. He's quietly there plugging the numbers. He's not the star of the show, but he's consistent. And well, now he's looking to make a star name for himself. ENCE 3-4. I will come in, but it's going to be sacrifices across the board for OG. No head armor on 4 of the 5. Incredibly limited util. Next are dropping down to the FAMAS. No defuse kit in play either, so they've got to hold on to these sites for all they're worth. ENCE, meanwhile, kitchen sink of around 5 rifles. Good utility. Looking to take advantage with this early mid-control. Couple of smokes give them free reign, and you can see Flames and Nico. They want to contest this, but without the flashes, they can't get in. They've got no way to entry, so Nico will reside in ladder for now. dycha is directly underneath him, as is Snappy. Huge opportunity for potentially a kill to double up, but dycha turns, he expects it. And Nico, with one too many angles to hold, will fall. Madden next up on the chopping block. ENCE are trying to be aggressive and proactive into the ramp, and Madden turns at the worst possible moment, but the spray of the FAMAS betrays Nexa, and that's it. If he gets that second kill, it's bombed down. This round feels viable, but as always, the FAMAS is a traitor to all CS players. Nexa can't quite rein it in. Valde, whilst he gets one, it's all about the exits, and Hades is going to give him none of that. ENCE level things out at 4 apiece. Again, it's not particularly clean. It's not particularly pretty, but they're getting it done by brute force.
Seeing a lot of success now for ENCE towards some of these mid plays. This time, turning it into an A-sided end to the round. It was a little scary there when Madden was prodding up towards ramp with the bomb in his hands. I got concerned briefly. ENCE managed to manage the situation well. Lead out. That's not a fight you're going to win too often against the Orb of Hades. Nice to see him getting involved with that Orb. Oh, Bantu's got the UK flag back on. I feel like that switches like event to event at this point.
Depends where he feels his allegiances lie in the moment, doesn't it?
We'll take it. For Katowice, he's gone with the UK flag, but hey.
We'll take it. We'll take it. Don't complain.
We'll take what we can get. Otherwise, we'd just be stuck with talent members mostly.
Show match talent members, that's not where you want to be.
No.
ENCE exactly where they want to be in this one, though. Man up. Eagles and smokes all that this CT side can afford, and all Nexa caught with his out. Free kill for Madden. Spink starts to capitalize, and again, this is another one that's going to fall by the wayside. It feels like that early OG momentum is very much a long past memory at this point. Something they'll be longing for, I'm sure, but ENCE really seizing control of the situation here. And again, at this point, Mantu and Nico, damage, a kill, a rifle to salvage into the next would be amazing. But the shots not quite connecting for Nico. Out on short, spotted out, gets a tag, but nothing more. And again, Mantu spotted, wallbang down. Spinks is having none of it.
Good work for Spinks at the end of the round to close it out. ENCE bouncing back after OG got off to that strong start. This is where I wonder if we see OG try and go back to some of that aggression. The problem has been that ENCE have just been going for faster plays. So it's hard for them to go aggressive and get information plays going when you're just losing or taking fights so early on in the round. Double up setup could be another nice answer to it too. Valde getting that sniper into his hands as that B-sided player. This time, though, ENCE heavily grouped outside of A. Madden, the one-man lurking on mid, but this is going to be an A-pop.
Keeping it simple, ENCE. It's been the way they found near enough all of their success so far, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. dycha caught out by the molly. Has to use a smoke to extinguish it, and that does give the game away a little bit. You can see these rotations starting to make their way in. Nexa supporting from CT, does deal with Snappy initially, and with Valde catching the lurk of Madden on that secondary AWP, this starts to fall apart. Flames is waiting for a flashbang to get him in. Still 1 minute and 10 left on the clock. There's still by no means a guaranteed commitment here from the boys on ENCE, but as Flames deals with dycha, it goes from bad to worse. That drops the bomb in no man's land, and they keep on charging through. Spinks trying to clutch up, but it's a 1-for-1 again. And OG have found their voice once more here on Mirage. Hades is going to back away. Plenty of cash if he looks to save this AWP. He's actually got far more than near enough everyone on the ENCE side of things, so saving this AWP is not a bad bet at all. And right when OG need it, right when they go for the heavy investment, they go into that double up setup, they start to find their success again.
Not even needing the AWPs to do a massive amount in this round. Maybe he's still looking for fights. I think he just wants to make sure he isn't going to get run down after time. So holding a wider angle, trying to keep himself safe. They do have plenty of money on the ENCE side with how well the recent rounds had been going up until this point. Yeah, I think for OG, good to see that they're able to stop this more of a contact play, because it kind of looked like ENCE were going to be able to get out onto A and get into good positions quite early. Just didn't quite happen. A couple of key fights won by OG, finally stopping one of these faster, more loose plays that ENCE have been throwing in. This rotate from Flames was pretty important. Double swing onto Spinks. We've got ourselves an even scoreline.
Exactly how we wanted this series to be. Tight as anything, no real gaps. Double up setup pulled out, but there's sacrifices for it. FAMAS on Nexa. Again, the utility not great. Hades is holding for this aggression, and it's read beautifully. The opening kill goes the way of the T side. Valde unfortunate not to get the refrag. Only the leg connected, and as Nico deals with Madden, this starts to again swing back the way of this CT side. It really is a very fine balance at the moment. With dycha legged up, he's gone for the Bogdan, grabs himself the AWP, but Snappy, the snake in the grass, has made his way into the murder hole and actually drawn a lot of rotation away from this B site. Valde's going to be trusted to hold it solo, and with that smoke, he's going to have no vision over the site at all. Snappy, perfectly timed backstab. He will be traded, but he's opened up the B site almost single-handedly. Valde trying to charge on in is punished brilliantly by Hades, and again, the T side swing it back their way. Mantu and Nexa, they haven't got the money. They haven't got the finances to give this a go. The T side have got so much more cash. They have to scamper away and save. ENCE get it done yet again.
A really cool round from ENCE here. I love how they were waiting for some of that early aggression that OG were going for in a lot of the early rounds. You see Hades just posted on that angle, waiting to see if someone pushes through underpass. Gets a pretty easy kill in that position. And then from there, they turn it into this B play, despite Snappy slipping through the cracks elsewhere. He didn't even try and look for a pick on A or look for some information. he just instantly went in towards jungle because he knows how powerful that position can be to cut off those rotations. And so even if you were coming back to A, that would be a powerful position to have. But even as you go in for the B play, you can cut off the rotate, force Valdo away from B. Really good presence put on the map there by Snappy. Even though he only gets 1 kill in the round, he draws them out of position. And OG decide it is time for a pause, because after getting off to that 4-0 lead, ENCE have been very, very good to come through in these gun rounds.
They've really found their voice, haven't they? As soon as those rifles came out, it really felt like they got control of how to play. They worked it out. And from there, despite the odd bump in the road, they found some serious consistency. That'll be a concern to OG, so they take the pause, try and work out what the counter is. How do you play against this? I have to imagine it centers around those full belts of utility they've invested into, utilizing those Molotovs, those smokes, just to slow things down as much as possible. Because at the moment, ENCE are playing at lightning pace, and it doesn't look like they're going to stop anytime soon. 3 players conga lining into Palace. Suggest this is going to be another Palace pop. It's usually saved for the ecos, but they're going to give it a go here. Nexa under dark. He's lost his teammate. Make it 2 of them. Picks coming left, right, and center. They've just charged in. 3 1v1s. They take all 3 cleanly, and that's the round. As quick as it's begun, it's gone. I'm barely into describing what's going on, and dycha and Hades have picked off everybody holding that A site down. That is ridiculous, ENCE.
I mean, I was saying against Entropic, I wasn't sure how sustainable this playstyle would be long-term. But right now, it is working so well for ENCE. Just a lot of fast plays, and I think it is more viable on a map like Mirage, where you can take a lot of the earlier fights in a round. And now ENCE's money is good enough that they want to commit to the hunt. We've got this angle from Valda again. He's going to go back towards Kitchen, but he hears the players close by. ENCE moving in. Valda's position given away, and dycha's already close by. Eco should be fine in his spot, so at least 1 gun saved. The money is okay for OG. But really, this has all been about the turnaround for ENCE. They've just been unrelenting.
They really have, and that is just an ego play, for want of a better word, right? It's a Palace pop on a full rifle buy. dycha just swings wide, rips a man's head off. Hades is there to back him up for the refrag. And then dycha charging on through, grabs the spray down to deal with Nexa to crack that A site wide open.
I thought we might see the buy here from OG. They're taking the safe approach in this one.
Conceding
they were
the
going
lead
for
of the
that
half.
double up setup earlier, so that could be part of it. I think that might be why Nico's got so much money saved. Potentially to drop the AWP over in the future.
Makes sense.
Stack could still come into play, though.
ENCE are taking it slower than usual, at least initially. And that does open the door a little bit. Nico in towards the window, just charges through on the fading smoke. Tries to play a timing, be a little cheeky with it. It's a 1-for-1, but it's worthwhile at the moment for the TT Snipe. Given how little they've brought into this, the more 1-for-1s, the better. Mantu able to trade the death of Flames to keep it even in the 3-on-3, and ENCE still stalling in this mid area. Snappy, 1 shot from death. He spots Mantu through the corner of the smoke. He knows where he is roughly, but he's not finding the exact connection. He's after Molly to force Mantu even further out into the open. They're trying to push them into the crosshairs, but Valde has done one better. The MP9 up close has made it a man advantage for OG, and this was not a round that ENCE could afford to be losing. Mantu with 1 more, and it's all Hades. AWP out as he deals with the first. Valde's got an AK in towards jungle, and that's going to be a real issue. Flank from Nexa pretty much not applicable at this point, at least for the time being, as Valde settles himself into that jungle. The Molotov fades, and that gives him room to breathe. And Hades at this point has got no idea. He has no clue what's happening. Pop Flash will at least allow him to tap that bomb, but it's 2 AKs against the AWP. The flick misses. They know he's got a plant now or never. He comes off of it, and Valde punishes. OG, this was the save. This was the round to get a couple of kills. But as soon as ENCE turn that pace dial down a little bit, they lose control.
OG just spring that trap into action. You see a couple of the early fights. ENCE maybe start thinking they can move into connector safely. And then there were more players waiting in the wings. Valda also aware of the possibility of a player coming in from behind, coming in through window, trying to flank. And he was the player that I don't think they were expecting to be there. Normally has that B anchor. This time he switches up his position. This time Mantu is the man going to be early, but Hades, lying in wait with the AWP, will take that fight all day. Oh, and he'll take another AWP apparently.
Just drop it at his feet.
By the name.
Find his keepers and all that. Man advantage, make it too snappy again. One mistake, it's quickly corrected by ENCE, and again, this starts to look very awkward. Valde and Nexe trying to turn the tide. Valde swings wide though, and that opens him up to the AWP. Man advantage back the way of the T side. ENCE trying to clear this as a unit, and Hades smells a rat. Wallbang connects, and it leaves it all onto Flames. Another clutch arse of the youngster. Hasn't had the most blinding of starts. Valde really has been the star of the show for the CT side, and oh, that molly. That's a tilter. The timing on that could not have physically been better, and Flames off the back of it. He's having a good long think, and his decision is that he can't afford to. If that molly hadn't been there, he would have been charging in. Maybe isolates the early 1v1, but with the bomb so far gone off the back of it, just no choice. It's going to be ENCE with an 8. The guaranteed lead at the half. One small mistake, immediately corrected, and all they do is they turn that pace dial right back up, Porker. They just go straight back to 11. We're going to charge on in, and then they get it landed.
Spink sticking with the bomb. They got loads of money, so you might as well make sure ahead of this last round of the half. Nothing to lose, really, in that scenario. But again, as you were saying, the pace, such an important piece of the puzzle right now for ENCE. And it's so frustrating to play against this style of play because OG will probably be sitting there thinking to themselves, this shouldn't be working as well as it is. We should be able to win quite a few of these opening fights when they're having to push forwards into us. It just hasn't been the case so far. ENCE have been so good in these early battles, and again, it's a 5-man punch in towards mid early.
Flames again, nade out. You got to be more careful than that, bud. Takes a tag, lucky to be alive. HE chips away at dycha, sure, but with Nico being tagged up, meanwhile, they know where Flames is. They know where he likes to play, and they're continuing to just spam away at him. Chip away at the health of these OG players. Flames finally has to concede it. Backs away to the relative safety of top connector. And this is where we saw ENCE start to derail last time. They slowed down off the back of that mid control, and it opened up the picks, but this time it's Madden with a slight gap in the smoke. Mantu had no idea. The bullet seems to be coming out of thin air. The man advantage conjured up with a little bit of magic from Madden. We wanted him to show up, and he's doing just that here. It's on to Flames again to have the hero hold. It's a 1-for-1, and that might not be enough. Nexa at least able to catch the bomb in transition, and that isolates the fights for him. A big triple spray down as dycha is left 1v2 in the last round of this first half. It's been back and forth, and 8-7, quite frankly, would feel fair towards both of these rosters, but I'm sure dycha wants just a little bit more. 26 HP. Bomb out in no man's land. He's got a little bit of time to play with. He's got a little bit of control to play with as well, as Nexe has actually just opted to drop all the way back down that A ramp, knowing that dycha will look to clear every possible corner, and then right as he looks to plant this one down, Nexe will strike. 8-7 as we head into the halftime. ENCE with the narrowest of leads. Well, we expected a close-fought affair, and we are getting exactly that. Advantage ENCE as we head into the second half. They have the narrowest of leads as they start off their CT side. Snappy, of course, picking up the Julies as he takes those over towards the B side, but it is still very much all to play for him. Valde has just snuck his way out the ramp. Madden under dark. It's an awkward angle for the USP. He's waiting for the flash. He's popped 3. Can't connect on any of them, though, and Flames immediately there with the punishment. Hades desperately trying to stabilize things. Has got a lot of damage, but it's not the kill, and the kill is what he needs because Flames will not ask twice. Mantu on the drive-by makes it a 2-on-4. It's Snappy desperately trying to get these Julies to sing, but again, it's too many targets. Even with 2 guns, he can't connect onto all of them as dycha is left, tapped away, wallbang down to 8. He thinks there's a flank. It's a nice kill for 1, but thank you and good night. OG taking a leaf right out of ENCE's playbook.
That's what we were saying in the pregame. We're expecting fast pace, high octane Counter-Strike with both of these teams willing to commit to early plays in rounds, and that's exactly what we're getting. Similar styles of play for both squads. That's why we were saying it might just come down to the individuals on either side. Right now, there's not much between them. But here in the second half, these teams will have to be separated unless we get an overtime. Made onto Nexa, bit of early damage done. Second round eco is very out of fashion these days. Got another force in from ENCE. The dig from dycha taking some early damage.
Madden finds the connection onto Nico, and there's a couple of tag players on the board as well. Valde doing what he can to stabilize. Spots out the player inside of that smoke as well. Spinks has to back away just a little bit. They look to get this bomb down, but again, the traitor coming through. dycha finds another headshot to keep it close. Low HP bars on dycha, and Madden will give OG some hope that they can get through this one okay. Madden really has just tucked himself into the corner, make sure he's not possibly wallbangable as dycha again finds more damage, but he's now last alive. There's multiple targets, he'll deal with one. The damage is good. It's not quite what ENCE would have wanted, though. dycha not quite able to find the heroics as OG take the lead over on the T side.
ENCE have actually got a couple of really scary dig players now. dycha is someone who I've always been so impressed by his deagle. I think it's up there. And then Madden, I would say, is similar. I've seen him make some big plays, so you've always got to be concerned about them in those rounds. And I think dycha's feeling it right now, because he's bought another dig in this round. Got a couple of kills in the last. It kind of pays for itself. There's a couple more kills in this round, but for the most part, not a massive investment from ENCE.
Just a bits and bobs. Charity shot by. See what you can get. Handful of bits and pieces, but it's going to be rough for them to get anything done. Spinks at least able to connect onto 1 with the deagle, but those Julies don't tend to do so well when your opponents have got full armor, so the frags do start to go against them. dycha still finding work, does get the connection, the headshot onto Mantu. Trying to at least keep it expensive for OG, but Madden late rotating in. 1v3. They're not planting the bomb yet. They want to wait for him to come in. They don't want to risk Nico going down as he dials it in. We'll finally get it done, and Valde with the aim punch will finally dispatch of Madden. So OG starting to stabilize on that T side as well, starting to show ENCE that they can do everything that, that ENCE can do, just a little bit better. As ENCE finally have their buy, AWP in hand, rifles available, opportunity to start fighting back.
Really replaying the dually shots from Snappy, where I don't think he hit a single one of them. Oh, poor Snappy. Maybe you'll find some more success now that they've got the full rifles. What about for Hades? Hasn't really been a game where either AWPer has taken over on Mirage. You might expect the AWPers to have a bit more impact, but it's dycha over on B to get that early pick onto Nexa through the smoke. There's still more coming his way, though.
A lot of work to do, but he's up for the task at the moment. Spotted out. Flames absolutely flying through the air to get onto the site, but they've still got to deal with Snappy. He'll get one. Good damage onto Nico as well before he goes down. The man advantage and HP to boot. So OG look to hold this 3v4, and Spinks again saw this so many times in the first half. Starts to flank his way on through. Yet to be spotted. Nico half-heartedly holding it, but his head should very quickly become visible here. There's the spray down. He looks for the second and he connects it clean. Smooth retake. Flames the only player to get anything at all. As ENCE finally find that response. Again, the pistol doesn't go well. The conversions don't quite land for them. But as soon as the rifles come out, it's like someone flicks a switch. They are just back on electric form.
Back on top of this one. So Spinks coming in with those 2 kills we just saw from Apartments, making a massive difference on that retake. It's always fun when we get a game like this where there's one player on either team that is just standing out so significantly. Valda going up against dycha right now. Both of those have been the real standouts for their respective teams. dycha looking to get involved early on mid. He's got the AK, he's got 2 headshots before he's traded.
That's absolutely disgusting from dycha out on short. Somehow comes out with the man advantage for his team. Spinks, though, can't get caught with nade in hand. Manages to bail himself out. Nico, yes, he finds Snappy, but he takes a dink for his trouble. Not that it matters. Everyone's hitting headshots today. Nobody cares about health. Nico rips the skull off to make it an even 2-on-2. And with the smoke down, that enables the plant as well. He'll go for it, given he's low HP, but Madden has no idea where Valde is. Leaves himself wide open to it. Nico, yes, he's spotted on the corner of that smoke. Yes, Valde's spotted too, but can Hades isolate them? Orp sneaking around, waiting for the fading smoke. Both players pincering in, and it's Valde who finds the connection. A little bit of magic from just about everyone there. Initially, it's dycha, then it's Spinks, then it's Nico, and then Valde mops up.
Double from dycha initially wasn't enough. Valda's double kill is what secures it for OG instead. What a game this has been so far. Again, we're really not getting as much out of the AWP as I was expecting, because we are having rounds where we're seeing these early mid plays. The AWP's not able to get involved all that often. If one of them could step up, it could be a real difference maker here in this matchup. Big control taken by OG early. Looks like more of a default spread in this round. No quick aggression this time.
I like the slowdown as well. They'll be aware of where ENCE's economy is at. Know that the utility is going to be a little limited, so they just slow the play down. They wait for those CT nades that have to be thrown because of how relentless the pace has been to go. And then the clock starts to tick down, and with just a smoke and a flashbang to work with. On the CT side, they'll strike, pop flash through the smoke. Hades isolated, Flames rips his head clean off. The spray down for the second is good. MP9 against AK, it's always going to be the AK that thrives. And again, this is going from bad to worse. Oh no, Snappy buddy. I know you're scared, but don't dink dycha on your way through. That's so rough. I mean, they're going to save regardless, but just the fact it happens is a real testament to how on edge both of these teams are feeling. And it's because both of these T sides are just throwing the kitchen sink at it, right? It's nothing premeditated. It's nothing choreographed. They're pop flashing through a smoke and just sending it into a site.
I think dycha got shot twice there from his teammates,
He
right?
did.
I think it was his teammate that broke the vent initially. Like, the first one I can understand. The second one, a little more confusing. But yeah, again, it's just similar style of play, right? It's just similar, simple flash over towards connector, trying to just force those early fights. Hades forced off the angle. There was a brief moment where he had a couple of players lined up through the smoke, but no way of knowing he could pull the trigger there. And starting to reach that breaking point now. And got to give a lot of credit to OG in this one. We weren't sure how their Mirage would look after they played such a close map against Renegades. They've come through here and shown us that it is going to be good for them against ENCE. Fast pace again from Flames. He got the openers in the last round. He's looking to do it again.
Nice timing for dycha. No. Oh, the CT rifle curse comes back once more. Next he gets dinked, his head flies back. dycha doesn't hit the second shot as a result. Snappy at least will find one, though. That MP9 able to get a little bit of connection, keeping things competitive. 4-on-4, ENCE know they need this round. This would be an absolute gift. We saw OG get away with one in the first half, but Mantu's looking to make it more and more impossible for ENCE. Picks off Hades, Nico chimes in. And again, this feels like it's starting to fall apart. An AK for Spinks with armor, full health behind it would be a fantastic little nab, and I think they've realized that ENCE. They're going to concede the 13th. Spinks will look to hold on to that AK. If he doesn't take any damage, it's only $350 to get a Kevlar if he even wants to. Snappy's got the full belt. Keep these two rifles. That next buy gets a little more vicious, gives them a little more room to work with, and that's exactly what they're looking for.
Another fairly quiet game for Madden by his standards. I think on the T side, we got to see a bit more of what I am used to expecting from Madden. He was going for more of those aggressive mid plays and those connector pushes. He was having some good impact there. So far on this CT side, it's not been up to par for this ENCE squad. Chance now to get the buy back on board. Again, though, they've got to make sure they can handle this early aggression. And I really think a big part of why both of these teams have struggled with some of the early aggression is just that their AWPers aren't firing on all cylinders right now. Normally, when you have those fast plays into mid like that, you'd love for your AWPer to just get an early kill, try and slow it down. Not really seen that so far, but maybe we can see it here.
Dycha looking to back his AWPer up. It's a three-man take of mid initially for the CT side. They do just start having to back away as Rumboost looks to come in, gets him past the AWP of Hades well. Showed a little bit of shoulder there, but just kept it tight enough to the wall that he gets away with one. And again, so much utility bled early. You don't normally see this kind of commitment in terms of nades early on, but knowing the aggression, they've got to do something. And this time it's CT aggression. Madden all the way down the A ramp has caught Nico napping deep in towards T-spawn, and for the first time in a long time, ENCE have a consistent man advantage to work with. ENCE trying to keep some semblance of mid control, of mid presence with that smoke, but Spinks is still here, still knocking on the door as the rest of OG start to double on back. It was always planned to be this delayed A play, but that smoke from Madden could not have been timed better. 40 seconds left on the clock. That buys him 20 easily. He's got a Molotov as well. If he gets that out, that may well shut the round down single-handedly. Flames making all the noise he can as Madden is going to be tested in a major way. Dycha swings beautifully, and this becomes a very one-dimensional attack. All three players for OG trying to make their way out of the ramp. Double molly onto Madden. He will burn alive, and that's the first kill they get, but they're running out of time, and Dycha knows it. Swings wide, delivers the kills. This is the round that ENCE so desperately needed. Valde will at least make it a little more expensive, but they're going to look to kill him after time. Hades tried to wait for it. I'm not sure if he quite got it. Looking at the economy, I don't think he did, but he sat on that shot for a long while.
I think Valde just got the losing bonus in time. Had a lot of money anyway, but again, this spray from Dycha. Man, he's just delivering on all fronts today in this map. It's still just back and forth between Valde and Dycha, both at 27 kills, both vying for that top spot on the server. Good slowdown from ENCE there, stopping OG from making that move into the A-bomb site. And now, Adam playing behind the smoke. He'd love a flash to help him out here. Maybe he's just going to sit in the smoke the whole time.
I think he's just going to play the timing game here. But he's spammed out by Nexa. They should have heard that. They should know. A missed shot. He's stuck now. He knows he's got two angles to hold, and he's only got so much time to live. He'll go down, but Dycha, again, is immediately there on the trade, deals with Flames bottom of mid, keeps his team in the hunt, and that early damage that Madden has done may well prove to be critical. Nexa down on 16, a well-placed HE will deal with him. And Spinks is the next man to look to aggress, and oh my goodness, man 2 can't be bailed out in time. Yes, Valde finds the trade, but it's a split second too late. It's 1v1s all across the server now. As with 50 seconds left, OG start to try and pincer in. Nico dropping util, not quite going to catch the man as Hades falls back passively. Lovely pot flash to drive him off the angle with 40 seconds. That bomb, though, is still in Palace, and Valde is still a very long way away.
Oh, Nico sneaks in for that frag now. Hades knows. Is he going to be able to get the right angle, though? He tries to fall back, but Nexa emerges at just the right time. And does Snappy want to go for this? The 1v2 feels doable, but it's not going to be easy to figure out the positions of these players.
He's not got the HE.
Crossed to CT.
He had the HE, maybe I think this is viable. He could possibly manage to get it onto Nexa. That would be the free kill that he'd need, but with Valde now sat in towards Sandwich, it's going to be impossible. Nexa swings on, impeccable timing. 14 for OG. Let's not forget, this is the map pick of ENCE. This is the map that OG struggled with so much just earlier today against Renegades. They've elevated their game in a major way here, just 2 rounds away from stealing their opposition's map pick and looking very clean while doing so.
Oh yeah, timeouts.
That's
Those are a thing. Yeah, ENCE finally calling for one. Now that this game is getting down to the wire. Down to the nitty-gritty. Well, this is a scenario where if ENCE lose this round, they are in huge trouble. Not just the scoreline, but the money would be too far gone, you would assume. So timeout is definitely warranted ahead of this one. Really enjoyable game so far here on Mirage, but it is ENCE's map pick, and it is OG currently out into the lead. Hades has got a pretty good spawn for A. If he wanted to go for a Palace peek or some early aggression, that would be a possibility. Could also just play more standard and go over towards mid, which it looks like he will.
They know they need a response, ENCE. You can see it. Hades will hold over the top of the smokes. Sure there's no early aggression. And who wants to run boost his rifler across. Nexa all too happy to pick up the charge as that mid control is going to start being established, and oh, Mantu plays the fading smoke like a fiddle right as he gets his vision on. Hades is dispatched, and that's a big kill to find. That's the orb. That's full mid control. Spinks to be mollied back to confirm it. And they're just going to creep. They're just going to creep on out of connector. Madden's got no idea what's coming for him. They're losing players left, right, and center. Dycha almost dropping a 30 bomb here. He's trying to hold on. He and Snappy remain the last bastions of the defense, however, and as that bomb goes down, they've got a decision to make. This round was do or die. Do they really want to throw the rifles at this? Do you really want to lose the 2 rifles in a 2v4 that already feels increasingly unwinnable? They're tucked into CT. They're having a real hard think about this. But I think there's only one decision they can reasonably come to. They're spending a lot of time covering their own backs. I think they've decided to save. They haven't got a choice in the matter. They need to fight for the OT at this point. Dycha is throwing everything he's got at this. But somehow OG have threaded the needle on a timing there. They've just wandered out con. They've just played contact. And nobody was watching it for ENCE.
Just too many rounds where OG have been able to get early mid control and then turn it into those A splits. It's been a constant theme here on this T side for OG, and ENCE haven't been able to handle it. Maybe in a round like this, it might be time to just go for some mid aggression even. I wouldn't even mind like a 3 mid stack, just pushing up early, try and take that away from OG, because OG seem to just be bleeding out that position, slowly taking control. This time the AWP of Mantu able to get that pick, and it's the last standby for ENCE.
What have you got for a spotted as they dive into the lower ton? Snappy's going to chew on that HE as well. He goes down low, but he lives. He lives to try and contest mid, but Flames is so ready for it. He's so ready for everything. Spinks tries to swing. He tries to save his in-game leader, and Flames, whilst initially not aiming in the right area at all, is still able to adjust. Nico finds Madden as he looks to wander out the A ramp as casually as can be, and this is a demolition job. OG have brought their A game to this series in a way I really wasn't expecting. A 2-on-5, full B site control, and ENCE have no idea. They've got to send Hades out towards A because they know Nico was here a minute ago and he's going to keep Hades very busy. Frag will at least go the way of Hades, but again, there's so much room. dycha, that's the 30 bomb. A heroic effort from him. 2 on 3, but now the utility. Now the stalling starts to come through. Smoke used to extinguish it means they've got to go out onto this site blind. 2 flashes. That's all they've really got. They flash man 2 off. He dives back in. That's it. 16-10. OG take it from ENCE, and they take it in electrifying fashion.
dycha can feel a bit hard done by, but OG are the ones who shine through. So much impact from Valda throughout that map, but Flames came through with some huge open...